Welcome back to some Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. Shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today? Where, I don't know if I mentioned it, but now I'm fully set up with my new phone, which is all very exciting. All the accounts got transferred. It took me a while. I'm going to be honest. I slept later than I expected to last night, so I'm running off less sleep than usual because I was just like, oh, I've got to push through and got to set things up at the end, and then I was just like, oh, it took the last 10 apps took longer than I expected, but everything's set up, and today I've got my phone case now. I've got the screen protector on, and might I say, it's probably the best job I've ever done with a screen protector. It is there are no bubbles that I can see whatsoever, which is utterly crazy because normally normally I've always get one little bubble or something like that, and the screen looks almost perfectly aligned. I'm looking at it, and I think it's slightly lower down off center by about 0.5 millimeter or something, which is obviously not something which you're going to notice on a day-to-day basis, so that's completely fine. It's basically the best job I've ever done, I think, on a screen protector, which is crazy because it's actually the first time I used the guides. Sorry, hold on. Good evening, everyone. Right now in Fawnhollow, it's 10:51 p.m. on Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. I also only realised about half an hour ago I need to record some Goodbye Volcano High today as well, because I didn't realise I didn't have any more. I thought I had one for today, but apparently I don't. But yeah, there's guides which not booklet guides. I mean, there's the screen protectors come with these sticker guides, which I didn't actually know how you were meant to use them before. I always thought you were meant to use them just to stick them on your phone and you sort of align up where you want things to go, but then I was like, I don't really understand how to use that. And then it wasn't until I was doing it this time I was like, I should figure out what these are for. And then it turns out what you're meant to do is you line up, you stick two of them on the underside of your phone such that they can wrap around and stick onto the top side, but you don't stick that top side on yet. You line up the screen protector on your phone, and once it's completely lined up and secure and definitely in the right place, you gently put down those two sticker guides such that they act like a hinge holding onto the back of your phone and the top of the screen protector, and then you put two of them on the same side so they act like a hinge and they're reasonably far apart so the screen protector won't actually move, and then you put the third one on the screen protector itself. And then you clean the screen or whatever, and you peel off, this is a tempered glass screen protector, mind you, and then you peel off the protective coating, and then as you lay the screen protector back down on your now clean screen, before that you put the third sticker guide on, I suppose, on the other side of the screen protector, and you lay it down and you stick it along the bottom of that, and then it's completely securely in place as you're trying to iron out any bubbles or do any final adjustments. I was like, that's actually kind of clever. I generally didn't know that's how I used it. So maybe that's why I've done such a good job. But yeah, I've chosen new backgrounds and new wallpapers for my phone. They're done by an artist called, I don't remember their name, but I will find them out because I really like their art, and I've used them actually as my laptop wallpaper and lock screen. It's Dan Fango is their name on DeviantArt. They do these very sort of atmospheric scenes with this little cute little goat and cute little deer animals, I suppose, sometimes. And I really like their art, and as I said, I use it as my desktop background on my laptop, and my lock screen on my laptop as well. And then I was like, okay, I can do it for my phone as well. So I've currently got one called Sorry as my phone background. I've got one called The Mute as my lock screen, and I've got one called Petrichor as my phone case. And it's awesome. It's aesthetic. It's and the best part is I haven't actually changed out the layout of how I laid out my home screen and my apps. Basically what I had before was the centerpiece of the artwork in the middle, and then I had all my apps in folders down the left and right columns. I've basically done the same thing, I suppose, with this one, except for now, instead of it being two grim reapers, I suppose, embracing hands, or not embracing hands, but holding each other's hands, it's a forest clearing, I suppose, and two little animals at the bottom. I'm about to cough. The sad thing is, the two animals at the bottom are kind of blocked off by the apps I have on my home tray, at the bottom, but still, it's very atmospheric. And certainly, I think a lot more me. But yeah, I got everything set up. I've got my phone case. It's just a clear one this time. I wanted to get I've always used Ringeke phone cases. I don't know necessarily how you pronounce them, because they always used to be able to, the Rengeki Fusion always used to come with like a stencil thing, which you can use them on your own photos and things you print out, and you can cut out and put in your own phone case to be like a customized phone case. But I couldn't find one for this one. Like, I could only find them, I assume, in black, which might also come with the stencil. But I was like, I don't want a black one because I've got a white phone this time. So I went with a clear case instead, and it didn't come with one. So I made my own. I've cut it pretty well, I would say. Because the Pixel 7's a bit weird. It's got like a sort of band along the top. I had to like cut the image I've got like in pieces, so I got like the main bit of it, and I just got like a little band at the top, because I was originally going to leave it blank, but then I looked at it and I was like, it doesn't look great just having it on my bottom with this like white band at the top. So I've continued on the photo, I suppose, through the camera lens, and it honestly looks pretty good, I think. I printed it with like a laser printer on like regular printer paper, so it's not that amazingly well printed. Laser printers are kind of meant to be for like documents and stuff. I'm not very great at printing photos and what I record, but the thing is they're very fast, and you don't have to change a laser printer nearly as much as you change an inkjet printer, in my opinion, despite the high upfront cost. Like this printer, I've only changed like, I think I've only changed, like refilled its like laser, like whatever the cartridge is called, once. And I have another one like just ready, because the one right now is like running low, but it's not out yet. But the ink ones, man, I had to buy so many refills, and they never last long enough, and there's always so much trouble putting them in, and especially towards the end of the printer, it was the HP printer, it was always like, oh, don't recognize ink cartridges or whatever. It was like, you know, put in valid ink cartridges, and it just wouldn't print or whatever. So it's a trade-off you pay. I think probably what the best thing to do would be to get this printed on like actual photo paper with like ink or something. Like, I don't know if those photo places still exist, but then it would be like much higher quality, but then it'd be a lot more difficult, I think, to cut into position, or maybe not. I don't really know. Anyway, I will say, this leads me on to what I was going to talk about today, because I often talk about technology and how I'm quite, not resistant to it necessarily, but I'm very much sort of like not stuck in my own ways, but I tend to be slow on the uptake with new technologies, and I think part of it is due to me just, you know, wanting things to last as long as possible. So I try and I don't really replace things, and I don't really have that sort of motivational drive to be like, wow, I really want to buy this new fancy technology. That doesn't really exist for me. Like it does for some of my friends. That's not to be like shade at them, that's just like, I mean, it's cool, I get to see that technology without having to purchase it myself. And a lot of times I'm resistant to it, and I'm like, I don't really get it. Like, I'm still not totally on board with the smartwatch thing. I've worn it for a few days now. I think it's very cool to track my sleep schedule with it. I don't really care for like actually having this as a watch on my phone, on my wrist, sorry. So I don't think I'm going to get a smartwatch at this point in time. Maybe in the future I can see it. As I say, if I become more active, I think that's more justification for me to get one. But at this point of time, I'm not like super sold on the smartwatch, but I'm still going to continue wearing this. I'll wear it for like a month or two, just so I can properly get used to it. I think I put it on a bit tight. Sorry, I had a wash, so I bathed, so I took it off. I also don't know how necessarily tight or loose I'm meant to do it. I think I'm doing it a bit looser than it's meant to be, but like if I put it on what feels like should be the right like level of tightness, it feels weird. It's basically the smartwatch feels like super strange on my skin, and I can't pinpoint why. But anyway, so I'm not super sold on smartwatches yet. I don't love Bluetooth headphones, and I still kind of prefer the headphone jack, but I understand their use. Not having cables is nice, but one of the biggest annoyances for me is the fact when I use headphones, sometimes like the main game I play on my phone are rhythm games, and because of a delay between the Bluetooth headphones and the phone itself, it makes it really difficult to actually play the music games, so much so I'm better off playing without music. But if I were just listening to music casually, or listening to a video, or watching a video or something, it's fine. But it might just be the Bluetooth headphones I have. Maybe it was my old phone, I don't know. I haven't actually given them a spin or try yet on this new phone, but We'll see. But the one thing, which like turns out I was totally wrong about, which I thought was very unnecessary, was wireless charging. Wireless charging is awesome. I've had it for about a day. It's so convenient. Like I bought I didn't even buy the official Google wireless charger because they had like £65, and I was like, what? I'm not buying that. So I bought an Anchor one for like £15 or something. I just plopped my phone on there. It's charging immediately. And it's not even that big. Like, I mean, it's certainly bigger than a cable would be, but it's very annoying having to plug things into a cable and having things be like, oh, you know, faff around with that and had to like unplug it sometimes. I didn't mean to skip through your stuff, Captain. I apologise. Faff around with the angles and that sort of thing, and then like forgetting it when it's plugged in and not plugging it in, when I could just pop it down on the pad and it just charges. Caveat, it does get a lot hotter, I think, with this on while I'm, but that might be because I'm also using it at the same time while I'm having it charged on the pad. A lot of the times I have it charged, I suppose, while also plugged into wire, but it's not always that super easy because the wire kind of gets in the way. But having it on the charging pad is significantly easier, I think. So I often use it for the same time as like playing games. Right now it's playing some of my rhythm games. I think I mentioned that before. It's because Project Sakai's got like an event and I'm trying to tier in it because it is my favourite group. So I had to top up my stamina. It's like supremely convenient having wireless charging. And honestly, that's one I'm happy with, to be honest. Still would have preferred a headphone port on it, but you know, headphone jack. But you win some, you lose some, I suppose. Wireless charging is it, and the best thing about wireless charging, well, not the best thing, but one really good thing about wireless charging is how futuristic it feels. Like it feels like alien technology to be like, oh, you know, how do you want to charge your things? I'll just place them here and they'll just like automatically charge for you. Of course, you know, the actual reality is not as futuristically glamorous as maybe like a 7-year-old you would have imagined, but it's still pretty cool technology wise. And yeah, the only real caveat I think is, one, it is slower than like the super fast charging cables, I think. I don't have a super fast charging cable, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. Maybe at some point I should buy one. I also think mine might not be charging as quickly because I've not plugged it into the wall. I've plugged it into my computer, which is now powering the wireless charging thing. So it charges reasonably quickly, but I think there's only so much power which the front USB port of my computer can output compared to like a socket with like a lightning charge or whatever. I will say, the actual illustration for the Anchor, no, don't go. Instructions, I suppose, for this wireless charger were the funniest things. Like, the only part I remember was like, oh, you know, you can use it with a thin case, and it was just like a phone and a wireless charger embracing with a phone wearing like a very flowy dress, but it was like a thick case won't do, and it was like wearing a parka, and it was like holding out his hands being like, no, don't get near me. But yeah, so maybe if I plugged it into something faster, that would offset it. But definitely a big thing is the phone gets hot. To be fair, I think that Pixel phones in general actually kind of get kind of hot from what I've Googled online. And it certainly doesn't help that I'm playing, you know, somewhat intensive games. Not the most intensive games, but they are, you know, more intensive than just like casual browsing or just watching a video. So, yeah. I just wanted to say, I was completely wrong about wireless charging. Wireless charging is so convenient. It'd be even more convenient if I had a plug socket like near a nightstand or something. Then it'd just be like, that's why I charge my phone. Just wake up. Like my phone could just sit on there, I suppose. Alarm times or something, you know, cap it's charge out at 80%, I don't know, and it's just ready to go. And I think the nicest thing about it is actually just being able to sort of pick it up, put it down, without having to like use a cable or anything like that. I know it saves me seconds. It doesn't actually save me any time, which is what I'm talking about. It just saves me the hassle, I think. like back in the day of using micro USB and like it having an actual correct orientation was terrible, and then when USB-C came along, it was so much nicer charging things. And now this is just the next step up, whereas now you don't even have to plug anything in anymore. Sooner or later, you're not even going to have to put it down at a specific spot anymore. You just hold it in your room and it like charges or something. I mean, to be fair, I don't know how that feature would work out because I assume how wireless charging is done through electromagnetism, which is basically, you might be like, what does that mean? I think the simplest term is like electrical currents can be, I was going to say induced, but that's, I guess, also kind of like a scientific term, but can be created using magnetic fields, essentially. They're sort of like one and the same to a certain degree. Why are they one and the same? I don't know if that's necessarily technically true, by the way, so don't hold me to it. I guess they're not one and the same, but they're very much linked using the left-hand rule. The motor rule. I don't know. There's the left-hand rule and the right-hand rule, and one is meant to be like the induction of electrical currents, and one's meant to be induction, or like the magnetic field formed by electrical currents, which I sort of vaguely remember. Like you do the coil, hold on, like force. Second finger is current. Middle finger is what? Field, I guess. Magnetic field. Is that right? I don't know. So I assume that's why it gets so hot. Probably comparatively to a charging cable, but I don't know necessarily if that's why. But it just is nice. I did not mean to craft something. I meant to just talk to you, Rowan. Hello. Sorry, do you want to go back to crafting so I can actually talk to you, and then you'll give me a recipe which I already own? It'd be a lot nicer if we didn't have to sneak around you like this, I suppose, and do it. Is that a new one? Leaf? Wait, is this a new recipe? Can't be. No way. Did you actually just give me a new recipe? Rowan, the absolute goat. Even though he's a tiger. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels quite futuristic, doesn't it? Having like a wireless charging pad. Like, I know my friends have probably like had it for years, to be perfectly honest. I mean, like one big thing is through, especially when you're driving a car, instead of having a cable, you can have like your phone be charged wirelessly through a stand or something. That's what one of my friends has, and it's pretty cool. I don't like that. Well, I can't drive, so you know, I guess that's not something I really thought about. But I don't know. I feel like such a grandma being so infused by like the wonders of modern technology, even though it's not even that modern anymore. It's probably like a couple years old. Because I don't remember what phone it was which first had it, but I remember when wireless charging was first a thing, and we showed it. And when technology was showed off, I think like Rihanna started an advert about it or something, and then people were like, "Oh, it's actually like pretty terrible." I guess now it's evolved to a point where it's actually pretty good. So. And it's also a thing where I think you can give charge to other phones, which can also do this wireless charging by somehow. I can't remember. My friends were showing it to me once on the train. I was like, that's pretty cool. And if anything, much more beneficial to me, because I'm very much one of the friends who always keeps their phone on very high. Not like always, but you know, before we go on an outing, my phone's charged, you know, to the extent where if I'm bringing a bag, I will bring along a phone charger, not for me, but for one of my friends, to be perfectly honest. Because inevitably one of them will have low charge or something, and we'll be like, yo, anyone got a phone charger? And I'll be like, don't worry, I got you. I mean, it's just, basically when you're out and about and it turns out you end up needing something which no one has, I end up just like start bringing it around with me, which is why I like carry like plasters around with me. It's why I carry, what else, like tissues, hand sanitizer, pen. Sometimes I carry a hairbrush, not always though. I should really get like a small comb. I forget about that. I was thinking about it the other day. Not the other day, but like ages ago, I was like, I should just carry like a small comb with me to brush my hair instead of like a full-on hairbrush. As good as this hairbrush is, it's a bit tedious to carry around. There's a lot of hair in it right now as well. You know, like what brand hairbrush is it? I can't even tell you because it's faded off. It looks like it says Eden or something. I don't know. It's like a very go-to brand, I think, for hairbrushes. But my hair's quite long, so it gets caught in it quite a lot, unsurprisingly. If you don't have long hair, you probably won't notice it as much, but hair falls out like crazy. Not like to like a balding degree or anything, but like I don't have hair loss, but just like naturally. Hair just sort of piles up. Anyway, yeah, wireless charging is like pretty cool. It turns out. I was completely wrong about that, I will admit it. Anyway, about it being like unnecessary. I don't even know if that was my opinion, to be honest, about it, but I remember it when my opinion on it when it was first released was like, it's terrible. But that's mainly because the technology at the time was not very good. It didn't even beat out wired charging. But now it's like, pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to round this episode off here. So if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope you see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.